In this video, we will show you a recent example of how the TSB Community Trust has helped a new community group with their capital grant.
This group is Te Māra Hāpori ki Parihaka, and this group grew out of a vision probably about 13 or 14 years ago with Te Miringa Hohaia and others that were looking at ways in which we could get the community more involved with sustainable living and eating good healthy kai again. This is a community garden. It relates to Parihaka and it's very similar to many other community gardens around the country. And so every month on the 18th and 19th and other events, we try to pick the kai and take it to those so that we have fresh kai on the tables. And then when there are other events on the papakainga, we're able to provide kai. So many, at the end of the day, probably hundreds of people have in some way contact, but on a regular basis, there's probably about 30 or 40 families that have connection to the kai from this Māra. The Māra operates on koha, and we just didn't have the resources to be able to purchase this one-off item, and it should last us for many, many years. The other area that we struggled with is we're starting to accumulate equipment, but without adequate storage facilities or enough room and space to store it, to look after it, to maintain it, and the tools that we need, we couldn't really do a lot. The funding that's come through from TSB Community Trust is helping us with a walk-behind tractor, and then the other one is a workshop to be able to house our equipment. Part of the Māra isn't just about growing kai. The kai is an important part, and it's important that we are involved in meeting our own needs, and we have the capacity to empower our community to be involved in this. But part of it is also about creating a space where community can be engaged together, and by community being engaged, then we rebuild some of the tikanga and the reo and the practices that we know our tupuna, our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation, they did naturally because they lived in this environment. So by creating this space, it creates potential for us to restore some of the cultural dynamics, the cultural capacity that we lack when we're just simply coming together and meeting and talking on the marae.